Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue, Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let Citi relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Buckle up and join the best. Let Citi relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
A bit of time to continue with his consultation before he brings the proposed name for running mate to National Council. And this was unanimously agreed by the National Council.
National Council of the New Patriotic Party waives party's constitutional requirement for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, flag bearer, to pick his running mate at least 12 months to election. That deadline lapses today, 7th December. Dr. Bawumia says he needs more time for consultation. Also coming up on Eyewitness News, constituency executives of the NDC in the Futu constituency arrested in court today when they went to solidarize with their colleagues standing trial for a demonstration they held yesterday following allegation that government was selling the Ramsar site in Winneba to private developers. Still on Eyewitness News, proponents of the anti-gay bill fume over failure of Parliament to take the bill at the consideration stage today. Also on Eyewitness News,
Julie Ness in Backing, East London, and we're going to be interacting with some of the revelers here. They will send their messages to those of you who are back home, so you know just how well you're doing. This is Beyond Borders.
Beyond Borders, Citi TV's new program hosted by Caleb Kuda premieres tonight at 7:30 p.m. We'll tell you more about this new addition to our bouquet of programs. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more of this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Institute for Fiscal Studies reiterate calls for effective revenue management to ensure economic growth.
There is more in business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citinewsroom.com. We are on Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady, Beach 105.5 FM also in Takrady, and Sky Power 93.5 FM in Takrady, all in the Western region. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani, and also in the Hafo region, this is Hames 106.5 FM in Goso. In the Ashanti region, this is Alpha Radio 104.9 in Kumasi, and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Global 105.1 FM in Ho and Adanu, 107.7 FM in Adaklu Wire. In the Northern region, this is Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura in the Upper West region, and Source 100.1 FM in Boku in the Upper East region. In the Northeast, we are on SCAP 101.3 FM in Nakpan, Duri. You can join the discussion or the show via our WhatsApp line 0549986996, or you can follow me on Twitter at Selomadu. The hashtag, as always, is Citi Newsroom. Hawa gives us our very first story.
The National Council of the New Patriotic Party (NPP) has waived the requirement for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to select his running mate before December 7, 2023. This is upon the request of the flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, considering the short timeline between his election and the constitutional period stipulated for the selection of his running mate. The party's constitution mandates that the vice presidential candidate be elected a year before elections if the party is not in power or the president is not flag bearer for the election. But the NPP's leadership says the constitution, however, gives powers to the National Council to dispense off with such requirement. Addressing the press after a National Council meeting, General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodia Frimpong, noted that the National Council agreed with the request of the party's flag bearer.
It was agreed by NEC, which is in charge of parliamentary primaries of our party, that the date for the sitting members of parliament primaries be varied from 20th January to 27th January. So the new date for the elections at where the party have members of parliament will be on the 27th of January 2024. So kindly take notice of that. Aside that, too, in line with our constitution, particularly reference to Article 13(3)(2), and I'll read: the vice presidential candidate shall be a known and active member of at least 5 years and shall be nominated by a presidential candidate at least 12 months before general elections when the party is not in government or the president is not the candidate. The National Council may, however, dispense with this requirement under special circumstances. From interpretation of this article, it presupposes that today should have been the day that our leader of the party and our presidential candidate should have presented his running mate to National Council. But however, upon request from the presidential candidate, that because his elections was done on the 4th of November 2023, he needs a bit of time to continue with his consultation before he brings the proposed name for running mate to National Council. And this was unanimously agreed by the National Council. So this is what happened today. And the party also took the opportunity to also remind our party officers, particularly delegates for the upcoming presidential primaries, upcoming parliamentary primaries, of their duty to be members of good standing. And when we talk about members of good standing, it means they must pay their dues up to date.
Justin Kodia Frimpong is General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now let's do some more discussion on this particular story. Dr. Bawumia giving more time to consult, to select or nominate his running mate for the party's consideration. And that person will obviously be presented to the people of Ghana as his running mate for election 2024. As you may know by now, before you go into an election, you must have a running mate who will eventually become the vice president of the country should you win the election. So today, according to the NPP constitution, we understand, the party's candidate has 12 months at least to nominate a person for the running mate position. Today is December 7, which means it's exactly 1 year to election, and that is the deadline for that is the December 6. Today is December 6, and that is the deadline for the said nomination. Sami, we have him, my colleague, presidential correspondent as well, who has quite some information on this, joins me in the studio to help us appreciate things better. Sami, what is the basis for this call that Bawumia should have appointed or nominated his running mate by close of day today?
Okay, so good evening. Thank you very much. If you look at the party's constitution, as the General Secretary quoted, which is Article 13.3, and with your permission, I read, it says, the party's presidential candidate shall, in consultation with the National Council, nominate the vice presidential candidate. The 2 says, the vice presidential candidate shall be a known and active member of at least 5 years and shall be nominated by the presidential candidate at least 12 months before the general election when the party is not in government or the president is not the candidate. The National Council may, however, dispense with this requirement under special circumstances. So as we speak now, the NPP is in power, but the president will not be on the ballot in 2024. Now they have a new candidate, which is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So because he's not a sitting president, he is required by the party's constitution to nominate or select his running mate 12 months to the election, which is the deadline is supposed to end today, because tomorrow is December 7, which is 1 year to the election. And so by the party's constitution, he was supposed to name a running mate today, which will go by the party's constitution. But then the same constitution says that the National Council, which is the second highest decision-making body of the party after the National Congress, may defer or even give some dispensation to the presidential candidates and give him or her more time to do that. So today, Dr. Bawumia, who chaired today's meeting, the president is not around. So Dr. Bawumia is the acting president as we speak. And so he chaired today's meeting. And per the NPP's constitution, if the party is in power, the president is the leader of the party. When the party is in opposition, is the national chairman who is the leader of the party. So Dr. Bawumia acting as president, he chaired today's meeting and then tabled before the National Council, first of all, the National Executive Committee, and then the National Council, that he needs a bit of time to do the selection of his running mate. If you remember, his election was just a month ago, and so he needed more time to select whoever his running mates will be. And per the party's constitution, the National Council has the power to allow such a dispensation to happen. So that power was given to him to give him more time to select his running mate, and as and when he is ready, he will come and present this same individual, first of all, to the National Executive Committee, and then to the National Council for final approval, and then officially the person will be outlawed.
I see. So do we know how much time he was given to do this?
The General Secretary was silent on this, but if you look at the NPP history over the years, the party has done this not less than 6 months to an election. So remember in 2008, a similar situation.
When Bawumia himself was nominated.
It was done somewhere in June of 2008, when the official announcement was done that Dr. Bawumia was going to partner Nana Akufo-Addo into the 2008 election. So if that is anything to go by, Dr. Bawumia may have up to June of next year to make this announcement. My information is that he may want to do this even earlier. So that he and the running mate may get enough time to campaign across the country. Because if you remember, the two of them are going to be new faces altogether. And so the issue of marketability and the likes is going to happen. In 2008, it was a different thing because Nana Akufo-Addo was already a known politician in the history.
But Bawumia is vice president.
He's vice president. He's been vice president for
7 years.
But in terms of politics,
a very popular vice president.
But in terms of politics, comparing the political history or precedent of Nana Akufo-Addo won't be same to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Nana Akufo-Addo has been in politics for God knows how many years, unlike Dr. Bawumia, who entered the mainstream politics somewhere in 2008. So comparing the numbers, it will not be ideal for him to also wait for 6 months to do this particular selection. So the information I'm getting that early next year, latest by March or April, the MPP presidential candidate, who is the sitting vice president now, may come out with a name of who is going to partner him into the next election.
Do you get a feeling, somebody close to the action, do you get a feeling that the pressure is getting to him? Because we've seen and heard a number of names, and sometimes when the names are many, the pressure gets to you because everybody will be lobbying to be that person. People have unique characteristics, unique traits that they may want to look at, etc. Is that pressure getting to him?
Yes, it is. It got to him the very day he was elected. It got to him the very day he was elected as the presidential candidate of the party. That's where the pressure started. And each day in, each day out, people come in to lobby. And in this case, there's a lot of lobbying going on. Personally, or using other relatives, other close associates and friends to do the lobbying on their behalf for them to.
But is it the case that he also promised a number of people the position that should he win the flag bearership, he would give them the role, and so now he is having to deal with all of that at the same time? Could that be a possible response? Reason.
It happens a lot in politics, depending on how close you are with the individual and the kind of sacrifice the person has done for you and the loyalty. You may, one way or the other, want to promise the person a particular position if eventually you are elected as a running mate. My information is that he didn't promise anybody this particular position. He just gave it a free and fair. He wants to come out as a clean person, and the person that he will nominate as his running mate will be approved by the National Executive Committee and the National Council. Normally, when these names are tabled before the National Executive Committee, you don't go there with just a single name. You may want to go there with at least 2 or 3 names. And so if the first person you select is shot down by the NEC or the NC, you may present the second name or even the third name so that this particular individual may be presented. So I'm very sure that Dr. Bawumia, as we speak now, has some names under his sleeves, and when the time is due, he may present these names to the National Executive Committee and the National Council, and what is expected to be done will be done.
But do we know what Dr. Bawumia is looking for in a running mate? Of course, we heard Joe Osei-Owusu had said that the party generally appears agreed to have the running mate come from the Ashanti region, which means that his scope more or less has been narrowed. And so if there were 20 people in the queue, that cuts it down to a certain number. Do we know what he is looking for in a running mate?
That is the agreement. Everybody within the party agrees that the running mate should come from the Ashanti region. I've heard the national organizer of the party, who is a member of NEC and a member of National Council, state on public radio that the running mate is obviously going to come from the Ashanti region. The vice president may consider someone who will bring more votes, not only from the Ashanti region, but other parts of the country. He may look at an individual or a person who may one way or the other work closely with him to retain the party in power. As you are aware, the MPP is making an attempt to be the first political party to remain in power after the first 8 years. And so they want to break the 8. And so the vice president may want to look at someone who may complete the project with him, someone who may compare his effort in one way or the other in getting the vote. He's from the northern region. He may wish to get someone who can help in the vote from the southern part of the country, and someone whose persona, whose more or less stretch goes beyond the particular region, which is the Ashanti region, and go to other regions like the central, the eastern, the western, and almost every part of the country to galvanize the votes, garner all the votes the party will need to win the 2024 election.
A number of names have been thrown about. I don't know how serious some of these, how seriously the campaign behind those names have been. So we've heard Napo, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Energy Minister. We've heard Joe Osei-Usu, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Yaosei Duchum, Education Minister. We've even had Eslo Usu, who is from the Eastern region, but MP in Accra, Blekuma West, I think. Her name has also come up.
Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, the majority leader.
Dr. Kokofu of the EPA, former MP for Bantama. His name is also come up, and a few other names.
So, Salam, in this period, you get a lot of names coming up in this period. A lot of names. Sometimes you even hear the names and you're like, oh, really? This one too is part of it. A lot of names will come up. That's why a lot of people have argued that for Dr. Bawumia to more or less reduce the tension and reduce all this speculation, it was just going to be proper and wise for him to select a running mate even before the year ends, so that one, it ends all this speculation.
Because the more time he wastes, the more pressure
is on you. So you end all this speculation, you end all this tension, you end all this lobbying, you end everything that comes with it. And so if you make this announcement early enough, it will help you and help the party and even the running mate you will select, so that the two of you can get enough time to campaign and win the heart and mind of Ghanaians ahead of the election.
Very well. Thank you so much.
Aside the running mate, there are other two important decisions that the National Council also took. Now, they were going to have their parliamentary primaries in constituency with certain MPP MPs, supposed to be done on the 20th of July, 20th of January. Now, the National Council has shifted that date to the 27th of January for this primaries to take place.
27th of January?
Yes, instead of the 20th of January, the primaries is now going to take place on the 27th of January 2024.
Any reason for that?
The party said they needed some time, one way or the other, to help put everything in place before this election. Another decision...
But 20th...
It's just 1 week.
Yeah, so it originally was what?
Originally it was on the 20th of January.
So there's one week extension.
So they moved it to the 27th of January. The party has also directed all campaigning in constituencies with sitting members of parliament to cease until the budget statement of the government is passed. The party believes that if this is not done, they're going to have the divided attention. Once you are campaigning in the constituency, there's government business supposed to be done in parliament. And so the party has also directed that all activities in terms of campaigning be seized in these constituencies, and then until the budget is passed, then you can go and continue with your campaigning.
I see. Thank you very much. I mean, talking about groups supporting, their favorites for the running mate position of the MPP, a group calling itself the MPP Concerned Youth in the Northern Region has publicly endorsed Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh for the position of running mate. They laud Dr. Opoku Prempeh for his tenure as Education Minister, spearheading the implementation of the highly acclaimed free senior high school policy. Expressing firm conviction in its capability, the MPP Concerned Youth urged the National Council to consider Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as the ideal candidate to bolster the MPP's influence in the Ashanti region. They made this known during a press briefing held in Tamale today.
We, the MPP Concerned Youth, a dynamic and passionate youth group of the New Patriotic Party in the Northern Region, have convened today to convey our earnest appeal to the esteemed leadership of the great party and presidential candidate, urging them to consider Hon Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as the running mate to Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia in the upcoming 2024 general elections. Our endorsement is grounded in careful consideration of several factors that we believe make Hon Dr. Opoku Prempeh an outstanding and strategic choice for this critical role. Below are the qualities of Hon Dr. Opoku Prempeh. He is a distinguished career politician. Hon Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh stands as a distinguished career politician with an impeccable track record of public service. His unwavering commitment to the principles and values of the New Patriotic Party have been evident throughout the tenure of the Member of Parliament and most notable as the Minister for Education. His dedication to the party ideas make him an excellent choice to reinforce the MPP commitment to good governance and effective leadership. Connection with party foot soldiers. One cannot underestimate the importance of grassroots support in any political campaign. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh has genuine affection and respect from the party foot soldiers, thanks to his approachable demeanor and consistent engagement with them. The connection ensures a solid foundation of support that is essential for a successful electoral campaign. Matthew Opoku Prempeh has a good working relationship with the MPs. He fosters harmonious working relationship with Member of Parliament in noteworthy. His collaborative spirit and effective communication skills make him an asset in facilitating cohesion between the party, a crucial factor of navigating and intricacies of parliamentary affairs and policy implementation.
So that was Mohammed Kabiru, secretary of a group calling itself the MPP Concerned Youth in the Northern Region. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. A few of your messages that have been coming through. Aziz Online Wa says, whoever Dr. Bawumia nominates as his running mate, the value will be the same because the economic hardship Dr. Bawumia subjected innocent citizens to is intoxicated, undoubtedly incapable, and therefore won't make, or it's not quite clear, but it's a change is necessary. Paul Aka Jr. from Ahafumim says the MPP and Dr. Bawumia must choose a running mate who is marketable and maybe appealing to floating voters. It will help them a lot. I'll take a short break. When I return, we'll deal with other matters, including the arrest by some NDC persons at Efutu, and also what has been happening in Parliament in respect of the anti-gay bill. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Chane Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
It is your time to vote for your assembly members and unit committee members. So get involved and vote.
Citizens of Ghana, this is an urgent call from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE. District level election is here again. This year's election will take place on the 19th of December 2023. Every 4 years, Ghanaians are enjoined to elect citizens to serve as assembly and unit committee members to help facilitate the development of your community and the district. The time to exercise that civic duty is now. On Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, visit your voting center between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. with your valid voter's ID card and cast your vote to elect your preferred candidate. Remember, democracy begins at the local governance level. Your vote counts. Vote for development change agents. Vote for Ghana. A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back, Eyewitness News. You're welcome back to Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Your messages have been coming in droves. This one from Jones Adobo in La says, Good evening, Salam. I can only wish Baumia and his incoming running mate well. And just to add that the value will never change no matter who is elected as running mate. You see, Ghanaians are not angry now. Zelos Dwayne in the UK says this party always breaching their own constitution. It's shocking. Father SK from Kenya Kumasi says Dr. Baumia should not be influenced by any external forces. He should choose his running mate in his own discretion. You say now, you have to gear up for an extraordinary viewing experience as Citi TV introduces Beyond Borders, a captivating program taking you on a global journey into the lives of Ghanaians living beyond the borders of Ghana. The show, hosted by Caleb Kuda, premieres tonight at 7:30 p.m. Here's a sneak peek into what to expect on Beyond Borders in the following report.
I've been doing this for the past 24 years now.
24 years?
Yeah.
You've been in the UK for 24 years?
24 years.
Meet Kweku Jesse, who left Ghana for the UK 24 years ago at the age of 20. Once a minor in Obuasi, he now owns Hollywood Unisex Salon in Edmonton in the UK, showcasing how life can evolve beyond borders with acquired properties both in Ghana and in the UK.
At what point did you decide that, look, I want to move to the UK and make a living there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I was around 20 years of age when I decided that, I need to move to look for a better future for myself and my siblings as a whole, because I was the elder.
You were the firstborn.
These compelling narratives are just a glimpse of what Beyond Borders has to offer. This weekly television program by Citi TV aims to bridge the gap between Ghanaians in Ghana and those living abroad, sharing stories that unveil the realities of life in foreign lands.
I'm really loving the vibe out here at Julius in Backing, East London, and we're going to be interacting with some of the revelers here. They will send their messages to those of you who are back home, so you know just how well you're doing. This is Beyond Borders. Hi, guys.
All right, so that was ecstatic Caleb Kuda, host of the new addition to our bouquet of programs here at Citi FM. We call it Beyond Borders. Caleb Kuda has joined me on the line to help us understand properly what this program is all about. Caleb, good evening. Good to have you on Eyewitness News.
Many thanks, Salam.
Yes, I mean, quite an interesting program you have, traveling around the world, talking to people and all of that. That should be an exciting role.
It's a beautiful challenge. It's a lovely one that I appreciate.
So what is the program about really in a few seconds?
Right. So, Salam, we have over 1 million Ghanaians estimated to live beyond the borders of Ghana. And every day they are plugged in, they are tuned in, they are listening to what is going on in Ghana. They are following very keenly the activities going on. They send their remittances every day, which contributes to our economy. But hardly do we hear of their stories. Do we get to know of their successes, their triumphs, their challenges, and the reality of life out there. Because for a lot of young people here in Ghana, the expectation is that once they get out of Ghana, they go beyond the shores, they are going to make it. Some are doing very well. We spoke to a doctor who owns a clinic. Another one owns another hospital for 30 years in East London. There was a barber who has Range Rover houses in the UK back home. And then there are the stories of those two who have died in their cubicles out of loneliness, and their bodies have had to be shipped back home as cargo for their families to bury. It's a kaleidoscope of things: the good, the bad, the ugly. So we have this privilege of telling the stories of Ghanaians in the diaspora, because for a lot of us here, we think that everyone there is making it and our demands on them are so high. And those there also think that, look, we are literally, killing ourselves to get the little we send to you. So it also bridges the expectation between those in the diaspora and those back home. So it's a very interesting program that touches on the successes, the joys, the triumphs, the sadness, and every other thing. And also, we tell you the culture of the Ghanaians in the diaspora. People have not left their fufu back home. They are still enjoying it. People have not left their Amachi Dede tunes. They They're still enjoying it. People are still making, connects of Ghanaian associations despite the cosmopolitan and busy nature of the world out there. So it's a very beautiful journey that you don't want to miss.
Wow. So that airs tonight at 7:30 p.m. on Citi TV. So talk to us about the very first episode. What are we expected to see tonight?
Well, so Salom, I would leave some of the details for our viewers
Surely,
and listeners
yes.
to really find out. The point is that we are spoiled for choice, so there are so many of them. You are likely to see one doctor who went to a clinic as a patient and ended up owning that particular clinic. So that's a very intriguing story. So you may find that, or you may find this barber who has 3 shops in London, and people make sales for him. He's bought a Range Rover. He's doing very well, and he thinks that, look, if the system is just right and proper opportunities are created for Ghanaians, we could thrive. And that, the absence of that makes him not see himself coming back home. There are such grim stories that makes you, lose hope, and there are those that also encourage you. So I'll just encourage you and all our listeners to go. Sit by their TV sets with their families and have a good time.
Wow, I see. Indeed, we'll be glued to our TV sets at 7:30 p.m. to watch the very first episode of Beyond Borders, hosted by Caleb Kuda. Caleb, thanks so much for speaking to us on this Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Howard gives us some more stories.
The National Association of Institutional Suppliers has bemoaned what it describes as the slow pace of payment of arrears owed them by the government. The group in August this year threatened to protest over government's failure to pay for the supply of uniforms and house dresses to senior high schools for the 2022 and 2023 academic year. Speaking to Citi News, one of the spokespersons for the group, Emmanuel Ayubo, said the group would be engaging Parliament on their concerns.
For now, the payment is ongoing, but very slow, very, very, very slow. Very, very, very slow. Because as at the time we gave the signal, government had paid up to 5 batches. Now, as we speak, they are paying 7, the 7th batch. We are about 24 batches. So the payment is very, very slow. And this thing is 2 years back. 2021, 2022 academic year, then 2022, 2023 academic year. And the pace of payment is very bad. We have a plan of ticketing at the ministry. So we sent a proposal, but before that, we sent a petition to Parliament. Hopefully next week, the leadership will engage Parliament and see the outcome. We will, if we see that it's not favorable for us, then we will just carry on with our ticketing as we planned earlier.
Emmanuel Ayubo is one of the spokespersons for the National Association of Institutional Suppliers. Parliament has announced the establishment of an ad hoc committee to be chaired by the Member of Parliament for Isikado Ketanjo Gate to probe matters relating to the locked-up funds of customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Limited. This follows a petition presented to the House by MP for Boko Central Mahama Yaraga on behalf of the group. The customers in their petition are demanding an investigation to establish reasons accounting for the failure of the government to pay their locked-up funds and also compel the government to pay their investment. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, in presenting the petition to the special committee, issued a 3-month window for submission of reports.
This committee, under the chairmanship of Honorable Jogate, will go into the petition and report to the House. I propose we give them 3 months. 3 months. 1 month will be too short. 3 months. If there is any challenge, the committee is meeting, the committee could kindly get in touch with me and we see how we facilitate the investigations of the committee.
We had the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, now still in the House. The MP for Nkwanta South, Geoffrey Kinney, says 11 persons were reported dead within the first 24 hours of the conflict that occurred in the Nkwanta township. The conflict, which erupted over disagreement related to the performance of rites connected to the 2023 Yam Festival, has also resulted in several injuries and property damage, prompting many residents to flee the area. In a statement on the floor of Parliament, the MP, who bemoaned the impact of the conflict on education and farming activities, called for peace from all stakeholders for life to return to normalcy.
The usual vibrant and boisterous township degenerated into a ghost town, with hundreds taking flight to near and distant towns and villages, and others barricading themselves and families in their homes to escape being killed. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the security agencies comprising of a combined teamwork of police and soldiers camped nearby for their swift response, which helped to stop the carnage. But for their intervention, the fighting would have reached a more catastrophic proportion and claimed more precious lives and destruction of colossal property. It is instructive to note that dozens or scores of homes have been attacked, vandalized, and razed down, and market stores looted and sacked. I report to this honorable house that about 17,190 school pupils, 750 teachers are currently at home. Government or state entities have been closed. Farming, which is the main occupation of the majority of my constituents, have been disrupted because some of them have been attacked and killed on their farms and many injured. Mr. Speaker, the threat of shortage of food, including basic staples such as maize, cassava, guinea corn, millet, rice, is imminent and staring us in the face. In this regard, it is important for all stakeholders to join hands immediately to bring a speedy end to this carnage and restore peace, order and stability to the people.
Geoffrey Kinney is Member of Parliament for Nkwanta South in the OT region. Now, the proponent of the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, also known as the Anti-LGBT Bill, have expressed fury over the inability of Parliament to take the bill at its consideration stage today. The bill seeks to proscribe LGBTQ+ and related activities, prescribe agenda, propaganda of, advocacy for or promotion of LGBT and related activities, provide for the protection of and support for children and persons who are victims or abused of LGBT and related activities. Although the bill was expected to be taken today, the House was unable to do so due to the absence of the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Kwame Ayumedu-Enchi. Speaking to journalists, the lead proponent, Samuel Nate George, alleged that deliberate attempts are being made by the majority caucus to step down the bill.
As sponsors of the bill, the Promotion of Proper Sexual Human Rights and Ghanaian Families Bill 2021, we are livid and angry, extremely angry at the conduct in the chamber today. This morning, the Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagman, called and said to all of us as sponsors that the bill was going to be taken today. The consideration of the amendments were going to be taken today. When we got to Parliament, he sent again to indicate that he wanted for all of us to be present. Since 8 a.m. this morning, we've been calling the chairman of the committee. I have been calling the chairman of the committee since 8 a.m. this morning. He's refused to pick the call. He's not returned the call. The ranking member of the committee, Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, has been present in Parliament since 10 a.m. He was in the chamber when the mace came in with the speaker. ready for us to handle this. The Speaker came in earlier this morning and indicated that he was going to take only one urgent question and then take the lane of papers, and that there was a very important bill, you can take the hands out and check, that had to be dealt with. But the Speaker indicated that he also had a meeting he had to attend. And so when the Speaker called the first Deputy Speaker, Honorable Joseph Osei-Owusu, to take the chair, he indicated to him, and I state this on authority, he indicated to Honorable Joe Wise to finish with questioning and proceed to take our bill, the anti-LGBTQI bill. In fact, when the Speaker went into his lobby, myself, Honorable Helen Ntosu, and Honorable Delasoa followed up with the Speaker to find out from him if the bill will still be taken. Once again, the Speaker, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagman, indicated that he had instructed the first Deputy Speaker to start the consideration, and that when he finished his meeting, he was going to come back to complete the considerations today. Because the Speaker said he was completing the considerations today and gave those instructions to the first Deputy Speaker. Our frustration is that this is not the first time this is happening. It's not the second time. This is the third time the Speaker has given such an instruction and it has been disregarded in his absence. We need to understand from the majority side what their issues with the bill are. We need to understand with those who take the chair when the Speaker gives the instruction what their opposition to the bill is. We are very well aware of people in leadership on the majority side who are reaching out to sponsors of the bill, asking us to step down the bill. Is that why the majority side is fighting against the bill? The excuse given today that the chairman of the committee is not in the chamber, so we can't take the amendment, is alien to the practice of this House.
So that was Sam George, one of the proponents of the anti-gay bill, obviously unhappy with the fact that the bill could not be considered today. He's joined us on the line for a quick interview. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Have you since heard from the chairman of the committee? You said you called him several times this morning. He did not pick up his phone. And has he returned your call now?
Good evening, Salom. The chairman called me 5 minutes after I finished my press conference in Parliament, because clearly he was following on social media, and I refused to pick his call. I won't pick his call because I've called him since morning. He didn't pick my call. Whatever games he's up to, I don't have anything to converse with him. If he has anything to say, he should come on the floor of the House and come and say. But I'm not going to pick his call. I refuse to pick his call. He's called me 3 times. I won't pick his call.
Oh, but you don't know why he was not there. Maybe he was in an emergency. Maybe he was.
That emergency only ended after we came to expose him to the media.
Maybe so. He has something to say.
I'm not interested in finding out what he wants to say. If he has anything to say, he should come on the floor of the House and come and say it.
So does this shut the window for the consideration of the bill in this session of Parliament?
Absolutely not. To those forces of evil who are conniving to think that they can frustrate this and filibuster this bill, sorry to burst their bubble. We will take this bill before the end of this sitting. I have the assurances of the Speaker even this evening on that level and on that score. He has assured us as proponents that if possible, even this week, he will take that bill again, sit and preside himself.
Because the impression, as we have it, appeared like everybody was on board and that, it was a bill which could go through quite easily because all members of Parliament, being representatives of the people of Ghana, identify with the fact that the practices you are seeking to proscribe, for the want of a better word, are firmly, as it were, unaccepted to the people of Ghana. So there should be no issue at all. But that doesn't appear to be the case from what you're saying.
The people of Ghana unanimously, largely, a very large extent of the people of Ghana support the letter and spirit of the bill. However, the facts remain the facts that you have some people who are trying to hide within the corridors of Parliament and in the shadows and try to instigate. They've called me, they've called my colleague proponents, our members in the floor, to try to reason up with us on the bill. There is no reasoning up on this bill, and we've made it expressly clear to them. And we've said to them, if they have any misgivings, they should not be cowards. They should be bold to their convictions. the way we are bold to our convictions to say this is what we stand for, irrespective of any threats or intimidation from wherever in the world, we are standing by our convictions. They must be bold enough to also come and stand on the floor of Parliament and say this is what they believe and stand by it. But their inability to stand on the floor of the House and speak to their convictions is cowardice. And it's a very dishonorable thing. And should not be ascribed to anybody who bears the title honorable. People must stop playing games. And people, look, if people have compromised themselves, like I keep saying, they have compromised themselves. It's between their God and their conscience, but it would not stand in the way of this bill. And as I said in the press conference, it's a train that is moving. It will crush anyone who stands in his way.
I see. That's quite interesting. But another hurdle that I foresee, for example, is that this bill may suffer the fate the witchcraft bill and the few other ones are suffering in the Jubilee House. So, for example, the president writes to Parliament and states Article 108 of the 1992 Constitution that Parliament shall not, unless a bill is introduced or the motion is introduced by, or on behalf of the president, Parliament shall not consider such a bill. And this one being a private member's bill, are we not in infringement of Article 108 of the Constitution? And how do you cross that hurdle? The president must accent to it before it becomes law. Here he is having issues with the witchcraft bill, which came in a similar manner.
There's a school of thought that thinks that the president is taking this preemptive strike with the witchcraft bill to set a precedent so that he can find basis to refuse to sign the anti-LGBTQ bill. But thankfully, the president is not the ultimate in this country when it comes to the law. The Speaker of Parliament has served notice that the president's actions are unconstitutional and are a breach of the Constitution. In fact, I hold the view, not the Speaker, I hold the view that the actions of the president are unconstitutional and even constitute grounds for impeachment. Because the president is flouting the Constitution in such a blatant manner. Article 108 is clear on issues that are involving financial matters. How a witchcraft bill can be interpreted by the Speaker, by the President, to be financial matters. And for that reason, the President arrogates to himself powers that he does not have. Already we complain that the Executive President of Ghana is too powerful. Now he is usurping the powers, constitutional powers, that have been given to the Speaker of Parliament. Come on, we can't sit down and allow that. And so I believe that if the president does not rescind his decision, Parliament should take him to court. We should take him to the Supreme Court for the courts to rule. Because Article 108 is clear. It puts the prerogative for determining financial implication not on the president, on the person presiding. If you have the Constitution with you, please read Article 108. It says the person presiding, and that's the Speaker. That's not the President. The President has absolutely no powers.
Yes, but that article deals with the settlement of financial matters, so taxes, etc. But it also deals with the fact that if signing it or assenting to it and its implementation may impose or will affect the consolidated fund in any way or other public funds of the Republic, then the president has a right to raise that point, doesn't he?
How does it affect? Are you going to employ new police people? Then look, it then means that you can never have a private member's bill. And that is why Professor like Aaron Okwe, former Speaker of Parliament, in one of his most stellar moments, established as Speaker of Parliament, that it will amount to absurdity that the framers of our Constitution created the opportunity for a private member's bill in Parliament, knowing fully well that a private member's bill, so long as it does not involve the imposition of taxes or the settlement of financial matters, would definitely have other instances, for example, like criminal prosecution by prosecutors of state, incarceration by the prison service, and all of this are not. You don't need to build new prisons for people who are found. Hello.
Yes, you're on air.
Yeah, I'm hearing someone call Gordon. That's why I thought it was.
No. You're on air.
Okay. So there is no way the framers of the Constitution are expecting that anybody will construe those clauses to mean that any private member's bill cannot lead to incarceration or cannot lead to prosecution. Then what's the essence of the bill? Then why do we have the remit of private member's bill? And that's why I said it borders on absurdity for anyone, including the president, to want to give such an interpretation. And like I said, the Constitution is even clear that even when it comes to the determination of its financial implication, it is not the president. It says the person presiding. The president doesn't preside over parliament.
So how do you hope to cross this hurdle? Will you go to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of this? Because many people, including myself, foresee that this, the anti-gay bill, which you are a proponent of, may suffer the same fate. So how do you hope to deal with that? Will you, based on the president's pronouncement in this witchcraft bill or on this witchcraft bill, go to the Supreme Court to seek an interpretation way ahead of what might happen in the case of the anti-gay bill?
That Parliament must go to court. Parliament must go to the judiciary to get an interpretation of Article 108 and state it clearly. Get it clearly stated because there's separation of powers. Then we do the laws. The judiciary interprets them. So let's go to Parliament for an interpretation of Article 108.
Let's go to the Supreme Court.
Let's go to the Supreme Court and get an interpretation of Article 108 and see if the framers of the Constitution wanted the president to be the one to make that determination or not. You understand me? And for me, that is where I believe that we must take our democracy. The president cannot willing in anything to even weaken the hand of the president. He claims that this is on the advice of his Attorney General. Is that not problematic? Because the same Attorney General, who he claims has given him this opinion, sat through the processes in Parliament, contributed and took part in the debates on the floor of the House. In fact, in the case of the anti-LGBTQI bill, the Attorney General himself has submitted a memo, which is a public document, where he raises all his issues. So, how then can you be part of a process to pass the witchcraft bill and then turn around when it is convenient for you to go and issue another advice to the president, which he chooses to also follow a lawyer of a stand? We'll go to the Supreme Court to challenge and test the law and get a proper interpretation of it for all of our sakes.
I wish you the very best on this. Sam George, Member of Parliament for Nigo Pampram, will be following with a lot of interest how this matter travels. Eyewitness, thanks so much for your time. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, the police have arrested some National Democratic Congress constituency executives in a photo who accompanied 9 suspects to court today. The suspects were part of demonstrators protesting the alleged sale of the Ramsar site to an investor to mine lithium. The 9 suspects appeared before the Agona Swedru Circuit Court, presided over by his honor, Jonathan Nunu. After proceedings, the Agona Swedru District Police Command arrested the NDC constituency executives. Yes, lawyer for the accused persons, Mohammed Kofi Chumesi Naya, speaking to Citi News. Indeed, he's joined us on the line to tell us more on this. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Why did the police arrest the 9 persons or the NDC executives? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Kofi Chumesi Naya, lawyer for the NDC constituency executives in a photo who accompanied 9 suspects today. Why did the police arrest your client? Did they give you any reason when you went there?
Well, thank you, and I give your cherished listeners. What happened today was that about 9 persons were arrested yesterday for taking part in a lawful demonstration which was embarked on by some residents of the Efutu constituency. And those who were picked up by the police yesterday. And so today they were arraigned before court. And so I appeared for them and the court admitted them to bail. Then just as the court admitted those 9 persons to bail, the police there and then arrested 4 of the NDC constituency executives. And since then, they have been in police custody. We're unable to secure bail for them as I speak to you.
I see. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so I personally, because I was present, I asked the police officers why the arrest, and they said that it is an order from the IGP. That is what the police officer said, that this is an order from the IGP. And so as I speak to you, even though we have done all the paperwork to secure police inquiry bail for them, it appears that there's an order from somewhere asking them to be detained. And so as I speak to you, I'm at the police station at the moment.
I see. So the IGP specifically directed that these constituency executives in Efutu be arrested. And from what you say, the demonstration they had, they followed the due process, and so it couldn't have been the demonstration?
Well, for me, that is what the police officer said, that it's an order from the IGP. I do not know the truth or otherwise of what they said. But in terms of the demonstration, it is clear, it is their constitutional right. Press 1 to Article 21 of the Constitution 1992. You understand? And they duly notify the police per law. And so if the police had any issue, why they should not have a demonstration, they had every right to go to court per law to seek an injunction. But they rather provide protection for the demonstrators. And it so happened that he said that there were some people who threw stones and other things. And that is how come those 9 persons were arrested yesterday. But as for the constituency executives, there is no evidence whatsoever to show that they threw stones or they wielded any stones or even sticks, as the police are alleging. And so, for me, it is political, highly political. For me, it is just a matter of just to show them worth our life. And that is how come the constituency chairman, the constituency youth organizer, the constituency women organizer, and the treasurer have been arrested by the police.
So, they've not been told specifically on what charges they were arrested or what offense they might have committed apart from. They've not been told that. So why did they arrest them then? What have they been told?
Yes, so basically today we were in court for 2 offenses. They said that they were engaged in unlawful assembly. That is to say that the demonstration was unlawful.
No, I'm not talking about the 9 suspects, but my focus is on the executives here.
Exactly. So if you look at the caution statement, basically it has to do with the same offenses.
Okay.
The same unlawful assembly, and then they said that they engage in riots with some of weapons and other things.
So the executive might have been arrested because they led the demonstration. Could that be the reason?
Exactly. That they led the demonstration. And so they have been charged with the same offenses as those other 9 persons.
But the law is clear on that. The Public Order Act is clear that if you undertake or you embark on a demonstration and it goes bad, the leaders of the demonstration will be held accountable. So if indeed there was some confusion in the course of the demonstration, it is only right that the leaders of the demonstration be arrested. Is that not the case?
No, I do not think that anything went wrong with the demonstration. In fact, even those persons who were arraigned before court, and let me say this, that they were not charged. Those persons who were taken to court were not charged. They only went to court to say that the court should remand them, which we opposed and applied for bail, and the court granted freely. But the point is that even those who were arrested and sent to court, some of them have been injured by the police. So it is not the case that it went bad. It never went bad. And we do not know where this arrest is coming
Did you say some of them have been injured by the police?
Yes.
Why would the police inflict injury on them if there was no confusion?
So it is not really about the fault of the demonstrators trying to do something which is unlawful. What I've been made to understand is that they had wanted to go to the assembly to present their petition, and the police stopped them. And so that is exactly what happened. It is not the case that the demonstrators decided to throw stones or they wielded any weapons or anything of that sort.
I see. So they couldn't present their petition to the MC or to the chief executive.
They were not allowed to enter the premises.
Not even their leaders. Not even their leaders to present the petition.
Not even their leaders.
I see. We'll end it here. Thanks so much, Mohammed Kofi Chumesi Naya, Esquire, lawyer for the NDC executives in Efutu who were arrested in court today when they went to solidarize with 9 others who were put before the court allegedly for engaging in unlawful assembly. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. City Business News is up next.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
I'm on way. Yeah. Media some bisanda mo. Eti emra tia no. Mu wan pa na tumi hwe na mo bodom pe mo ma na yakono. Eye kwabna. No mu honsu na tumi just mali me ma yene nyina de. Eye kojo. Yampa. Enu kro. Kobre tumi hwe na bodom pe mo sense o yusu president eba. Aye den oban ne do braye. Bu si echi na mo hoban na sem ma na hode ne. Sa. Ani na kudwo nsu yusu president chako. Na enu ne de e ma wo se wo ye krejen fita. Na watimi asiri bejo ma na feel you. Hey kojo. Sa. Yeah. President eba and president chako. Afedie. Ya kono natural.
FDIJ twadi nkato yatu.
Oh, what a nice move towards the cashier.
Yep, you can trust my wife for that when she's using my Access Bank Visa card.
Oh, look at that. Too much swag.
Her swiping is impeccable, especially when Access Bank Visa cards are offering up to 40% discount.
Aha, I see where her confidence is coming from. A 40% discount. That's something. What is she paying for?
It's a spa moment.
Get an Access prepaid, debit, or credit Visa card. Transact and enjoy up to 40% discount when you shop at your favorite retail outlets or Access Bank loyalty partners. Your Access Visa cards can be used for local or international transactions. Access Bank, more than banking.
About to a rainy, gonna go to a bunny view. Easy about to a rainy, don't go to a bunny view. Oh, your mamba, sorry, go to a bunny view. Easy won't say, gonna go to a bunny view. Everyone so say, I got to a bunny, but my battle. Assembly many unit committee members to a bunny way. I ain't young to you, to a bunny. December 19th, please prepare yourself to go out there and cast your vote. Oh, Mama, Papa, 19th December, fellow pardon, so copy when you pray. About 200, no, a bump of 4 war, young Papa Sabasa, young voters ID card, put to be a coffee, a bomb to my wapa. I can camera no, so yo mamba pa, got to a banubio. I'm about to a rainy, gonna go to a banubio. Easy about to a rainy, I'm gonna go to a banubio. We yo mamba pa, sorry go to a banubio. Easy boy won't say, gonna go to a banubio.
District Assembly elections, please go and cast your vote.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News and Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan. Make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisi Mustafa. Details of our stories now. The Institute of Fiscal Studies, IFS, has highlighted the need for government to put in place measures to ensure effective revenue management to ensure a speedy economic growth. The Institute is also urging government to push for a debt cancellation while negotiating for the $600 million second tranche of funds from 8 external creditors. Given recommendations in a research analysis on the 2024 budget, a senior fellow with IFS, Dr. Saeed Washi, noted that this could reduce the pressure on the country's yet-to-be-passed 2024 budget in servicing debts for other developmental projects.
We are so tight that the reliefs coming from the debt restructuring is not enough. So if we can, we should need debt cancellations. So that at least you are not owing the part of the council, you are not owing it anymore. And you have that breathing space to begin to put together. Even that will not be the solution to your problem. Because in the 2000s, when we canceled that, we had got very big fiscal space. We blew it up through poor expenditure management. So we need a briefing space. But what we need on long-term basis is effective expenditure management. Of course, in addition to more revenue generation. I said during my presentation that you have to leverage your opportunities. And you have some opportunities you can leverage. And I'm saying the extractive sector is there. Leverage on that because they are also benefiting from our economy. And we need to also benefit from them. It's a give and take. You understand that?
Dr. Said Boachi is a senior fellow with the Institute of Physical Studies. The director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISEM, Professor Peter Korte, has voiced his concerns in response to recent data released by the Ghana Statistical Service. The Statistical Service revealed a troubling reality indicating that approximately 23% of districts in Ghana have around 50% of their population living in multi-dimensional poverty. Speaking during a press conference, Professor Peter Korte highlighted the interconnectedness between poverty and soaring inflation rate in these regions.
Link this to the Ghana Statistical Service inflation report. You find that inflation rates are above 50% in most of these areas as well. That certainly is not good, and we have to put in policies. We ought to grow between 8 to 10% per annum if we seriously want to reduce poverty and deprivation in the poor districts and the poor households that we find ourselves. So in looking at the budget, reviewing the budget, ask yourself whether we are doing enough to really affect the lives of the poor. If you want to see whether an economy is doing well, look at the lives of the poor, the bottom 20%. If you're able to affect them significantly, then you say your policy is working.
That was the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte. The Minister for Tourism, Art and Culture, Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, has emphasized government's commitment to revitalizing the tourism sector for enhanced economic resilience. During a signing ceremony with the Guma Group, a South African company pledging a significant investment of $50 million to rejuvenate selected tourism sites in Ghana, Dr. Awal assured of vigilant oversight to ensure successful implementation.
The President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, has charged us to try and move tourism to the apex of the GDP in terms of contribution. So the contribution from support from the Guma Group, from my brother Chairman, is help add value to all these attractions that we have. They are there in their natural state. But see, the most important thing in tourism is repeat tourism. When tourists come, they come back again with family and friends, they stay longer and they spend more money. That's exactly what our partnership is all about. Add value and shine the attractions of Ghana. So that we don't only promote international tourism, we also promote domestic tourism. Ghana, as you know, is the most peaceful country in West Africa, one of the most peaceful countries in the world. Also very attractive in terms of investment. We are going to work hand in hand with the Guma Group, Torres, Chairman and team, to make sure that within the next few years, Ghana moves from being number one in West Africa as a tourism destination to among the top 3.
That was the Minister for Tourism, Art and Culture, Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal. The second edition of the African Bitcoin Conference has ended with participants and speakers expressing optimism of an awakening to a new era where African government will give leverage to the usage of Bitcoins. They argue that it's one of the digital financial platforms that can transform the digital economy of the continent. Here is Cross Okonkwo, a Nigerian artist who was a key speaker at the conference interacting with journalists.
It's going to have a very huge impact in our economy. Like, it's going to make a very big statement in our economy. Like, I'm sure our GDP will be off the roof. And, also showing that, the most layman and common people, even in rural areas. Like, I remember when I went to Ekiti, there's some places that barely have, like, televisions, networks. So if we can drive this adoption of crypto and Bitcoin into the rural areas in Africa, in Botswana, in South Africa, in Kenya, in Nigeria. Trust me, we are 54 countries and we have over 1 billion population.
That was Cross Okonkwo, a Nigerian artist, who was a key speaker at the African Bitcoin Conference. And that's it for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB personal loan. Make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are such a cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
The Association of Ghana Industries, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Ghana Standards Authority, present the 12th AGI Ghana Industry and Quality Awards. Theme: Promoting local production in an ever-changing business climate. Date: Tuesday, December 12, 2023. Time: 6:30 p.m. at the Grand Arena, Accra International Conference Center. Major sponsors: Goyle, Rono Motors, Olam Agri, GCB Bank, B5 Plus, Nexons, Promasidor, GB Foods, Ghana Gas, Precious Mineral Marketing Company, Latex Foam Ghana, Activa International Insurance, Silver Star Auto, Unilever, and Gasem. Co-sponsors: Casa Preco, Coca-Cola, Accra Brewery, Guinness Ghana Breweries, Sleek Garments, Africa Health Supplies, and Baltic Ghana. For tickets, call 0547-474871. Be part of this excitement.
Mommy, please, let's go. Hey, why are you taking the whole family? You've forgotten I said I was coming here today?
Forgive me, but we are all headed to Royal Senchi for Christmas.
But it's not Christmas yet.
Shit. Christmas has started early at the Royal Senchi. From now till 21st of December, you can book a room for 2 people at a promo rate of 1,500 cedis on bed-only basis.
You're joking. 1,500 cedis for a room at the plush Royal Senchi? Let me call my husband now.
Call 0244-958-822 or 0303-409-180 or send an email to reservations@theroyalsenchi.com. Terms and conditions apply. The Royal Senchi, your luxury riverside escape.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight on Point Blank, the NDC is calling on clergymen, CSOs, and key stakeholders to reject the proposed legislative instrument seeking to restrict the importation of some 22 selected items. The proposed LI will compel importers of 22 restricted items, including poultry, rice, sugar, diapers, and offal, to seek licenses from a committee to be set up by the Minister for Trade and Industry. But the opposition party says the proposed LI will lead to corruption among government appointees. For the NDC, another reason for the opposition for the opposition to the LI is that government does not have the domestic capacity to produce locally. Yes, Minority Leader in Parliament, Dr. Kesel Atuforsin, addressing journalists at the Moment of Truth series in Accra today.
You may be aware that before Parliament, there's a number of tax measures already that the Minister responsible for Finance, representing His Excellency the President and the Vice President, Alhaji Bawumia, has submitted to Parliament for approval. And some of these taxes include the following. They are imposing a VAT on all non-life insurance, such as motor cars. So if you are going to buy car insurance, you pay VAT. If you are buying marine insurance, you pay VAT. If you are buying fire insurance, you pay VAT. You pay VAT on your building insurance. You pay VAT on goods in transit, and many more non-life insurance. He has also imposed 5% VAT flat rate on residential and commercial real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghanaians should get ready to pay 5% VAT anytime you buy a house from an individual or a real estate company. Going forward, if this law goes through, the VAT before Parliament goes through, if you intend to buy a house, get ready to put 5% aside for President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia. Because every house you buy going forward, you will pay 5% VAT on the quantum of the amount that you are supposed to buy. So if it is 1 million Ghana cedis house you are buying, you will pay 50,000 Ghana cedis to President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia. He's also imposing taxes on textbooks, VAT on textbooks, exercise books, newspapers, publications, architectural plan, scientific and technical works, magazines, periodicals, calendars, trade catalog, price list, diaries, and stationery. So including pens, stationery including pen and paper, you pay VAT on them. They are also imposing VAT on domestic air travel. So if you are going to Kumasi, Takoradi, or Tamale, and you decide to use aeroplane, you will pay VAT on those products. Passion, our whatever, all domestic airlines will now attract VAT. Imposition of VAT on domestic transportation of passengers by road, rail, and water. So if you charter a car, get ready, you will pay VAT. There's no strong railway system, but it says the rail and water as well. You end up paying VAT. There's an increase in stamp duty rates across board. Again, there's a new tax measure also before Parliament called Excise Duty Amendment Bill. And the new Excise Duty Amendment Bill seeks to increase the excise duty on cider beer from 20% to 47% of ex-factory price. So those of you that consume things such as Savannah, you'll be paying Heineken, cider beer. It's going to go up from 20% to 47%. And of ex-factory price, same as Apeteshi. You pay 20% tax on Apeteshi. I don't know how they are going to get their Apeteshi tax from. The bill also seeks to introduce excise duty of 100 Ghana cedis per annum for all petrol and diesel vehicles. Diesel and petrol vehicles going forward, each one of them will be paying 100 Ghana cedis. And this is what they call the internal combustion engine vehicles. And this includes all private cars, trotro, Uber cars, taxis, motorcycles, Aboboya, Prajia, Okada, Mahama Kandu. All of them will end up paying 100 Ghana cedis. Mahama Kandu, if you go to the north, it's very popular there, Mahama Kandu. Yellow. Then we have the Okada, Prajia, Aboboya, motorcycles, taxis, Uber, trotro, articulators. Every car that uses diesel and petrol and registered at the DVLA, 100 Ghana cedis, no exemption. Ambulance, the car, including hers, all of them, you end up paying that kind of tax. This particular tax, as I've mentioned, is regressive, since all vehicles will pay the same amount of 100 Ghana cedis per year, whether you are using a V8 articulator or an Uber car. And that is how regressive the tax is. Why should someone that has the money and is able to buy V8 pay the same 100 Ghana cedis as the person that is using Okada or Prajia or Yellow, okay, or Mahama Kandu? I mean, it shows that this tax is nothing but a very regressive tax. Furthermore, the bill seeks to introduce excise duty of 100 Ghana cedis per ton of carbon dioxide emission by industry. So what this simply means is that if you are a company and you produce smoke, carbon dioxide smoke emission, they'll come and measure it. I don't know how they will measure it. And if they measure it, a ton of the emission, you pay 100 Ghana cedis. 1 ton, 100 Ghana. So if you produce 50 tons, 50 times 100, 50 times 100. So they will come there and measure the smoke, the wusuo. If the wusuo is that big, then they will give you 100 Ghana cedis. And probably they will use if it's that big 100, that big 200, another big 400. So depending on the size of the wusuo you produce, you will be paying tax of 100 Ghana cedis per ton. My colleague Honorable Adongo says this is a wusuo tax, wusie tax. It's a tax for smoke. And so be careful, don't generate smoke in your bedroom, else you end up paying wusie tax. Ladies and gentlemen, amid all these taxes, it is our considered view, we the NDC, that these regulations are regressive, counterproductive, and have the potential to breed corruption, just like the days of the essential commodity and price control. And I'm sure most of you here, you may not have witnessed the price control regime those days, including myself, but we may have heard of it. And the days of Kalabule and what it did. President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia seeks to bring Kalabule back into our economy. Clearly, the proposed legislative instrument on the import restrictions is completely unwarranted and unwelcome. We in the NDC cannot welcome this legislative instrument. Already, importers and business community have amply demonstrated how these regulations lack broad consultation and consensus. We therefore call on government to withdraw these regulations immediately and broaden its engagement with all key stakeholders. We call on the Trade Union Congress, the TUC, the civil society organizations, the CSOs, traditional authorities, the clergy, such as the Catholic Bishop Conference, the Apostolic Fathers, and all clergy, chief imam, and everyone else, and all progressive forces to speak up and join the NDC minority to reject this obnoxious import restriction regulation in the supreme interest of our dear country. Colleagues, we can't fight this alone. We in the NDC in Parliament cannot fight this alone. The Constitution is clear on this matter. Before we torpedo this legislative instrument through parliamentary process, it will require 2/3 majority to overturn it. The NDC members, our number is 137. We do not have 2/3. And so we alone cannot stop this. So far, we have used strategies in Parliament to curtail delaying. It cannot continue. All what we are asking is that we can't do this alone. So join us, our brothers and sisters from the media, join us. Let us stop this obnoxious legislative instrument that seeks to ransack and create opportunity for others to make money. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Speak out as a citizen of Ghana, someone who cares about our country. Demonstrate, shout hard for the president to hear that, please, Mr. President, this your policy is in bad taste and that it will not help our country. If you do that, the one who sent the minister, first of all, the Minister of Trade is actually operating under the license of President Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia, isn't it? And it is only his authority or their authority that the minister responsible for trade is presenting this before Parliament. And in fact, this trade restriction has gone through the economic management team meeting. Because the Minister of Trade is a member of the economic management team. And this is chaired by Alhaji Bawumia. So it's Dr. Bawumia who has approved this to be late. And so I urge you, as media men and women, I urge you, as civil society organization, the Trade Union Congress, the clergymen, please join us in shouting, let's mount pressure for the government to withdraw this, because it breaches all protocols that we have signed, the treaties that we have signed, including the recent IMF agreement. It breaches all protocols that we have actually ratified. So please, that is the gap that is missing. Oftentimes, impressions are created that it's only the NDC that should fight. We have fought enough.
That's Kesela Tufosi, minority leader, speaking on the LI. Importation of some 22 items. This has been our show for tonight. Earlier, you heard Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, show produced by Nana Kobina Wilson, Beverly in London, and Sami Wiafi. Production assistance given by Daniel Squashi. Social media support by Edwin Kwakofi. My name is Salom Adunu. Have a good evening.
City News.